Hi fans, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at the newest episode of my airflow and pressure differential comparison of 120 millimeter fans, and that's number 34. Now, as always, I want to remind you that this is my anemometer or airflow meter, and unfortunately it only has 4 decimal places for the area measurement, and therefore I can't make it precise enough. So that as the numbers get larger and larger, there's a distortion that occurs that makes those higher numbers not accurate. The lower numbers should be fairly accurate, but the higher numbers should not be. Now that is the bad news. The good news is despite that distortion, it works equally across all fans, and therefore the numbers are accurate for ranking the fans for airflow. And airflow is good for exhaust fans specifically. I mean, it's also good for intake fans, but if you have a fan that has high airflow but low static pressure, it's best on exhaust. So the other thing that I always mention is I use cubic meters per hour, not cubic feet per minute, because metric is a better system. And most of the specifications from most companies are in metric, except for airflow, which is stupid to me. All right, so the fans that I have evaluated today are the ID Cooling XF1025 SDK, the XPG Vento 120, the XPG, the SilverStone FHS 120X, the Spire Air Force 120, and the PcCooler CPS F5 R120. Now, I don't know why it says both PcCooler and CPS. It doesn't really explain it, and I've not seen that on older products. Oh, and I do have to mention, I don't know what happened. When I got this product from Performance PCs, it went up to spec as far as the RPMs, but when I was testing it, it did not. It only went up to half. And I can't account for it. I tried 2 different fan controllers to try to get it up to maximum speed. It just never went up to maximum speed. So please keep in mind that this is actually damaged, which is unfortunate, but things happen. So what I want to do now is I want to show you the RPMs for the fan so that you can put your guess as to which fan will be the worst for airflow, and I think we know already for that, and which will be the best, and which will be the worst for pressure differential, and I think we can guess on that as well, and which will be the best. So I think that this one should be relatively straightforward for everybody, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'll get a lot of people putting in their guesses. Please don't change your guesses once you find out if you're right or wrong. This is not a competition. There's no right or wrong. It's just a learning experience. I want to see what you guys are thinking of, and then if you want to explain why you chose what you did, that's always great, because it helps me to form a broader viewpoint. With other people's viewpoints, it helps me to think about other things. I would suggest that when you're doing this, that you look at pictures of the fans and evaluate the fan blade design, the hub size, the frame design, and at least do those things, and try not to look at the actual specs, because some companies, they're not very accurate about their specs. We'll just say that. Most of the time, at least for RPMs, it's pretty good, but every once in a while, it turns out to be really bizarre. Now, so go ahead and put that in your comments. So, did you guess that the Spire was going to be the worst one? Well, that's what I thought, because I didn't look at these numbers when I arranged the list. I thought the Spire, being that it was broken or damaged at least, would be the worst one. But actually, the XPG Vento is the worst. It's got very average cubic meters per hour. I mean, very, very boring. Not that the Spire is amazing, but imagine if this fan were not broken. And I wish I don't think Spire exists anymore, but I wish I could get a replacement so I could test it properly. The ID Cooling was in 3rd position, and then in 2nd position, the PcCooler, and both of those did really well. But the SilverStone, for those of you who pay attention to computer fans, was really, really impressive, getting to almost 400 CMHs. But again, that's not the actual number. That is just for ranking purposes. So let's see how you did with pressure differential. Now, I guessed that it would be Spire, but now I'm kind of wondering if I got that one wrong too. And I got it right. And it's tied with XPG Vento. Okay, that is very, very interesting. So again, I wish I had a properly working Spire Air Force. I've got another Spire that's also damaged. I'm going to have to review that. I've got an Evermax that's damaged. I contacted Evermax and said, hey, can you replace this for me? And they said, we don't have it anymore. It's a really old fan. So sadly, I won't be able to get a replacement for that Evermax. So yeah, the ID Cooling is in third place. In second place is the PcCooler again, and the SilverStone wiped the floor with them at 91. I think that puts it in second position in the list for pressure differential. That's kind of cool. So let's take a look at the list. Okay, so we're at the top of the list for RPMs, and keep in mind that RPMs are not the most important indicator of airflow or static pressure or even pressure differential. There is a relationship, but it's complicated by things like the fan blade design, the frame design, the hub size, and other things. So we can see that the Spire, being that it's damaged, it was the second worst as far as RPMs. Otherwise, it would be in the second quartile. The XPG is in the first quartile. And then we have the ID Cooling in the second quartile. PcCooler is in the third quartile. And the SilverStone is in the fourth quartile in position number 4. So that's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the pressure differential. All right, so we can see here that the Lamptron Nova is the worst at 20, followed very closely by the UNM Life 21. And then we quickly climb out of the 20s and 30s to go into the 40s. Still nothing yet. We're in the second quartile. Spire and XPG actually did a lot better this time, both being at 60. And in the third quartile, nothing. But the fourth quartile has the ID Cooling, PcCooler, and SilverStone, putting it at number 2 because it got to 91 degrees. 1 degree less than the Snow Fan from Young Yi Hao. So pretty cool. Let's take a look at airflow. And the Kingwin is back at the bottom for airflow at 70 CMH. And then the XPG and the Spire are both in the first quartile. But surprisingly, the Spire actually did better than the XPG. And it looks like a huge gap, but if you think about it, this is only about a 19-degree gap. Okay, so second quartile doesn't have anything. The third quartile has ID Cooling, and then the fourth quartile, and then the PcCooler and the SilverStone, putting it in fourth place for airflow, which is very impressive, but not surprising for those of us who know about this fan. Now we're just going to slide it over here, and I want you to just take a look at the relationship that might be possible between RPMs, airflow, and pressure differential. You might notice something. Pressure differential is a combination of factors, so it's not clear-cut one way or the other. But you will notice in the pressure differential column, there are greens here, despite this being sorted by RPM, as well as reds and yellows. It's a big mixture. And I'm just going to slowly scroll through this. This is all sorted on airflow now. So you can see where fans are, and maybe if you're looking for a fan right now, this might help you. And you can always pause at any time. There we go. So I hope that this information has been useful for you. If you have any comments or any questions, any suggestions, please put them down in the comments below. Please keep them civil, of course. I don't tolerate rudeness. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.
I need to ask for your help. things have been challenging. Whose life hasn't been challenging lately? So if you can please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications, that would be really, really super. Also, if you'd like to help me financially and you can afford to, you can do a super thanks on my Glenn's Fast Reviews channel, or you can become a member there. Or if you prefer, you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII and become a member there instead. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Bleeping Computer for their support of my channel. If you need resources for computers, for getting rid of malware and learning about cybersecurity and stuff, Bleeping Computer, BLEEPING computer.com is a great resource. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.